Okay, so Monday, day 1 of Magical Bulletproof Baller, we have Casper the dog with us. What are you saying? What are you saying? And today, the main strength block of it is going to be front squats. We have hamstrings, knee flexion, and we have hip flexors for stamina. We also have tib, calf, sled work to warm up and some step ups. But the main strength is going to be ramping sets of front squat. Then we have, on the skills side of stuff, we have football, playing with the ball and stuff like that. We then have rope flow, and we have so it's a lower day, so it's going to be more balls. So we have Swiss ball balance stuff as well. Then for the stretch, it's going to be reverse Nordic and Jefferson curl. Casper's eating grass. I mean, you'll see as we get into it. So this is very knee focused day. Like I say, front squat is going to be the main lift, but to start off, I would do a sled if I had a sled, and I would do band and knee extensions if I had that, but I don't have either. So I'm going to do tib raises, KOT calf raises to start warming up the lower legs, and then we'll go super high rep on the step ups to start getting blood flow to the knee before I go into the front squats and stuff. So tibialis raises. Again, I haven't been training for quite a while. I've had some time off, had a little bit of a niggle which I had to sort out, and I had a lot of events and stuff on as well. So I'm not going to go super maximal today. I'm not going to go near failure on my front squats and stuff. We're just going to get back into it. I haven't squatted in over a month. I also don't have the best equipment in the world right now. So usually on this day, I would be doing super heavy step ups before I go into my front squats. Today, we don't have the weight that I need. I usually go up to about 130 kg for 20 reps. So we'll see what we can go up to. We'll make it slower, we'll make it more controlled, we'll make it more for the adaptation of the tissues than we are making it for the CNS work, which is what would usually be on the day. And then tib raises here to start off. The lower leg stuff, like if you think about the elbow, if your elbow is hurting and you pump your forearm loads, that's going to send blood flow just below the area and around the area, and your elbow is actually going to start to feel a little bit better. So the same thing we're doing with the tib and calf raises in terms of pumping the lower legs so that knee is more primed. We feel like there's more blood flow and cushion in the areas around the knee, so the knee can start to feel better. As well with the KOT calf raise, if you look at my knee right now, this is pretty much an isometric for the knee. At the same time, it is a calf raise. So my knee is actually getting stimulated. My knee is actually getting, the tendon creep is going on. The knee's getting some stimulus before we go into the harder activities, right? So using the KOT calf raise, I'm doing it off a box here. You can do it however you want. But having that knee come forward and having your hips move up with it is going to be quite heavy on the knee. So we have people start with 2 legs and less knee bend, right? So we have people just start like that, and the more advanced you get, more advanced you get, more advanced you get, until you got full stretch on the ankle and the knees coming over the toe the most, and then you go on to 1 leg, right? And the first goal is being able to get to 25 reps on 1 leg, and then you can start to add weight after that. Right now I'm just kind of getting a pump. We're kind of feeling about. I'm probably going to increase the weight as we go up in the sets. I'll probably not do too many sets. I like to do more frequency with a lower leg. So I'll probably do 3 or 4 sets of ramping on the KOT calf, but probably only 3 sets of on the tibialis. They don't need as much warm up because they're smaller muscle group. So we go KOT calf, tib raise, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I won't bore you with keeping this all in. Sometimes I put the entire full workout in. If you were, it would probably be like an hour and a half video, maybe a little bit less depending on how fast I go through this, but I'll just keep making edits and cuts in and out in this video. Sometimes if you've got some knee issues, what we like with the tib bar and the tib raise is to have a tiny bit of knee bend, and as you come up you flex the quads as well, because that's going to be even a short range for the knee as well as using the tibs. So your tibs are getting work, but also your knee is getting work as well. In that short range you'll feel it a little bit in the quads. If you just wanted to target tibs on their own, you would try and keep them as flexed as possible. I like a little bit of knee work, a little bit of knee warm up as well in the short range, especially when I haven't done sled. Like if you do sled first as well. You only need to do as many sets on the calf and the tib, because that's going to be strengthening the lower leg a lot. If you look when someone's going backwards on the sled, you'll see their calf light up, and then if you see forward as well, so it's going all through the lower leg and the feet. So if I had a sled, I promise you I'd be doing it right now. Okay, so I've done a few sets of the KOT calf and the tib raise. Now we're going to go on to some Patrick step up today. With the tib raise, if you don't have a tib bar, you can just put your butt up against the wall, keep your legs flexed, lift the toes up, lower them back down. If you don't know how to perform that, just search up tibialis raised form. Again, the lower legs, well, the feet really are our first point of contact with the ground, which is why we start with the sled usually. But then the lower legs then take the next level of force, right? So that's why we're also building from the ground up at the start of the workout, starting with sled, pushing through the feet, and then having the lower legs, tibialis and the calf. So it's going to help with ankle strength, ankle stability. The soleus is going to help with stopping anterior tibial translation, which is what happens when the ACL tears. So getting that strong is super important. The calf work is super important for knee health. Tibialis, again, every single time you decelerate, tibs taking the force first, to being able to get strength and work in there. It's going to help your knee to be able to handle those deceleration forces, because your body works as a whole. It doesn't work individually like you do in the gym, which is fine to train muscles individually in the gym because you're getting that tissue tolerance. But when you're actually on your pitch, your body's working as a whole. Right now, we're just warming up a bunch with Patrick step up. Like I say, I'd usually go to about, me personally, 5-inch step ups and go more CNS drive on these days and go 130 kg. I feel like that also preps me for my squats, because when you do 130 kg on your back and then you pick up 60 kg for your squats, it then doesn't feel anywhere near as heavy as it would have if you didn't do it 130 kg before. So then the squats feel a lot easier, a lot lighter. Today we'll probably just go slower on the Patrick step ups and go 6-inch, which is what we are on right now. I thought we were on 4-inch, but we're on 6-inch now. The slower you go, the more controlled it's going to be, and this is where you want to start in your rehab before you go onto the fast movements like I do on my step ups. So you could start this at flat ground, which is where I started. You could even use assistance if your knee hurts. Work yourself to 2 inches, and you could work yourself with some load, 2.5 kg in each hand, 5 kg in each hand, 10 kg in each hand. Work up the load a little bit over time, and then you can start to increase it to 4 inches. Again, go up the load, increase it to 6 inches, and then start to work there for a little while. If you want to make it more knee dominant, every bit more that you go knee over toe, it's going to be more pressure on the knee. So using something like a slant board to elevate that, already my knee is in a knee over toe position from here, right? So that's going to be more stress on the direct knee. I like the Patrick step up to begin with, which is just flat on it, because that's going to get more all-round ankle and knee strength together, right? So this is a mobility box from ATG, but I usually just use plates in the gym, since gyms don't really have this. So I use 225 kg plates, which are 2.5 inch each, which then goes to 5-inch. So I would work with that, maybe start with small 5 kg, work to 10 kg, etc, etc. Do not push through any pain on this movement. It's a joint dominant movement, so the knee joint itself is going to be a limiting factor. The ACL, the patella tendon, in that knee over toe position around here. This is an angle that you see in sport all the time, especially in football. Decelerating, boom, you're there. Jumping, boom, you're there. It's that exact position. So if we get super strong in the step up for the front of the knee, this position, and then also in the Nordic, where you'll see when I do them today, that it's that position again that's getting strengthened in that long range of motion. So then you have protection on the front and protection on the back. So when you're in football, the little body weight forces aren't going to really hurt you, right? Because you can do 130 kg step ups on your back, and then Nordics with 20 kg coming down. That's what I can do, right? But you build there over time. I wouldn't even be able to hold myself down in order to start with. I couldn't even do flat ground step ups without having the flare up in my knee to start with, right? So it goes from really low levels to really high levels, and it's a spectrum for everyone. But it's always about improvement. It's always about progressive overload. Cool. On the step up, you really don't want your torso to come forward. You just want the knee to be taking all the load. To go, if you go slower to start with, it's going to be much better for you to be able to handle wherever there is pain, wherever there's not pain. Then you can go, if there is any pain, go lower, boom, no more pain. Wow. You could even go assistance, take off some body weight, help with the stability demands. To start with, you may feel this in your glute med, in your outer glutes, because this is that exact position that is trying to stabilize your knee from falling in. For the first little while, like I used to feel it in my glutes and not really in my knee too much. And then over time, it felt more knee and more knee. But if you think about where the ACL tears usually happen, it's like when the knee kind of folds in. So if you have the strength in your glute med and you have your strength in your VMO, that's going to be way, way, way less likely to happen, right? For the speed work, I usually like to do it after what I call my warm-up. So my warm-up is the sled, and it's tips and calves, and then it's step up, 130 kg warm-up. But I like to get my knee warm. No, I like to get my CNS firing before I do my speed stuff. And then I'll usually do my speed stuff straight after the step-ups. And then I'll do my squats and stuff after that. But it's completely up to you. If I still had an injury, I'd probably go strength before speed and then have my speed at the end. Yeah, I think those two options are probably going to be the best for the speed work. As your knee gets more and more warmed up, it might start to feel better, but you really do want to think about how the internals of the knee are feeling in this exercise. It's not about the muscle strength to begin with. Over time, it can be more muscle strength and it can be more CNS dominant, but that's once your white tissues exceed the capacity of the red tissue. So your red tissues are the muscle, the white tissues are the connective tissue because they don't have as much blood supply. As kids, we are connective tissue dominant, we are white tissue dominant. That means a good example of how you'd be able to see that is, can I jump down from something from a higher height that I can jump up? Because jumping up, doing that, is using my hips, is using my muscles to produce force. So that's how high you can jump. But then landing, okay, it uses some muscles as well, but kids don't have massive muscles, right? So they're landing in joint dominant positions, they're going down into deep squats, they're actually using the connective tissue within the knee. So we want to be able to recreate that over time. I'm not going to do too many sets of step up today. It's going to be more of a warm up for my squat. This is very uneven ground as well, so it feels super interesting. On the step ups, I don't want anyone pushing through any pain. If you do have pain, regress the exercise or change something different. Some people will have more pain in stuff that is like a step up, shorter range of motion. Some people have more pain in stuff which is more of a deep range of motion. Some people get more benefit from the step up, some people will get more benefit from deep range of motion. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't do one of the exercises. Maybe you can switch it out. You don't need any of the exercises. There's no need. There's principles. And the main principle is regression and progression. So if you can't do even a bodyweight step up, there is somewhere. Limit that range of motion to even that much, and you're using assistance. Next week, I can do that much. Next week, that much. Next week, next week, next week. Then I can go up to 2 inches. Wow, this is pain-free. So it takes time, but you can definitely, and even the sled, like you're taking away the eccentric load, and it's the same position with the concentric. So on this day, I would usually do ramping sets to 130 kg with the step ups. Right now, I'm just getting my knee warm for the squats. I'm gonna use that as my heavier exercise today. I'd usually do body weight, and then the bar, and then 60 kg, 100 kg, 120 kg, then 130, so around 5 or 6 ramping sets. Then I'll do a max set of 130 kg times 20. Maybe once I'm back in the gym, I'll start doing a bit more, start going up again. And then I'll get into the speed work, and then I'll get into the squats. Today I'm gonna do the squats first, and then I'm going to do the speed work after, just because I want to see how the squats feel. I don't want to be too absolutely like worn down and destroyed before I get into the squats. So I believe that in football, deceleration capacity is the most important thing, and deceleration is going to be more knee. People always talk about top speed, they talk about acceleration, they talk about all this stuff, but I don't see as many people talking about the deceleration forces, when like the majority of our knee injuries are in deceleration, because the knee is more deceleration, it's more VMO, it's more knee flexors, hamstrings. So by building our hip power super strong and then not building our decelerators, we're gonna cause injuries. We're literally manufacturing injuries. So one of the most important things that we can do is get really strong in a front squat, because that's going to be more quad, that's going to be more knee. If we get super strong in a front squat in comparison to our RDLs, to our box squats, to all that kind of stuff, then our knees are going to be way healthier, we're going to have a much better time. So on these days, I do a front squat, I don't do a back squat. You can do a back squat if you want, whatever feels better. If you are just starting out, again, you can use assistance, you can use a limited range of motion. Over time, you do want to work to a full range of motion. Arse to grass squats are so important for the health of the knee, for the connective tissue, for all that great stuff. I'm going to have to move my mic. Hopefully you guys can still hear me as well, but I needed to move the mic out of the way. I do a more neutral squat width as well on this. I don't go super high on the slant board. You can, if you go higher, that's going to be more knee dominant. I like to have a bit more balance. I like to go a little bit further down the board and then coming down like an ATG squat, pausing in the bottom and then coming up. You don't have to be super upright like in a VMO squat, but you also don't want to be rounding and falling over, which is why this front squat's also good, because you're forced to kind of extend through the back and keep that load on the knees. So I usually do ramping sets. If you don't know what ramping sets are, it just means building up in each set. So I start with body weight, I then hit the bar. I have no idea what kind of weight I've got here today, so I'll probably try 30 kg, 40 kg, 50 kg. A little tidbit, like if you have less weight, you can play around with repetition styles to make it feel harder. If you want more tissue adaptation, more hypertrophy, you can go with slower reps. If you want more faster forces, if you want more elasticity, you can add bands, you can add pace, you can do drop catch squats, you can do all kinds of stuff, and it's going to have different effects on your tissues. Your tissues know tension, they don't know what weight there is on the bar. So it's for you to play around with it, it's for you to feel what is better for yourself. I would say that if you're playing football and you're doing the faster forces elsewhere, that in the gym, go slower. Do slow reps, because that's going to develop the tissue tolerance and the tissue quality. So then when you go into your sport and you're doing those faster forces, you're doing more of the elasticity stuff, you're going to be able to handle that, right? I'm probably going to do anywhere between 3 and 5 reps for the top set. You can play around with like how you do accumulation and peaking phases as well, intensification. So I'd probably go 3 to 5 reps for about 2 to 4 weeks, depending on who it is. I like to switch it up more often, so I'll probably do 2 weeks with 3 to 5 reps. Then I'll probably take it down to 1 to 3 reps. Probably 3 reps. I'll probably go 5 reps right now, 3 reps in 2 weeks time, then do 2 weeks of that, then go up to 6 reps, and then 2 reps, and then play around with it, right? But if you do different rep ranges, you also get different stimuluses. So high rep ranges are going to be more hypertrophy, low rep ranges are going to be more relative strength. So it depends on what you have as well. Like if you have a lot of muscle but you don't have a lot of relative strength, then do the lower rep ranges, work on the relative strength. If you have more relative strength like me, but you don't have as much muscle, then I would go more for the slower tempo, go more for the higher reps, because that's going to build the tissue quality. But you can also do the lower reps as well. I'm pretty dopamine dominant when it comes to my neurotype, so being able to do lower reps is actually better for me in terms of like what I prefer to train. Like gets me more excited for the gym when I'm able to train the lower rep ranges. So nice and controlled reps to start with. Go even slower, feel how the knee feels, get the full range of motion, elevate your heels on something, whether it be a slant board, but you could do it on just 2 plates underneath your feet. You could use Olympic squat shoes, do any of that kind of stuff. If you have pain in the knee, or you haven't done that bend in a while, assistance is going to be really important. Floss bands as well you can use to be able to get more range without any pain. Over time, progress. A tip that I really enjoy is stimulate, don't annihilate. So especially in like a knee journey, in specific, like an injury journey, but in general, like your aim in the gym should be to come out feeling better than when you went in. You should be able to feel like you could do the session again if you were asked, especially for like if you're coming back from an injury, right? Don't completely destroy your tissues. Don't go to complete failure if you're recovering from a knee injury, or if you're doing anything like that, because the next day, if you've destroyed your tissues and you're walking about and stuff, it's going to be more stress on the joint. You might break down your joint more than you can rebuild it back up. So really go much less than what you think you can do to start with. Over time, you can increase. But if you think about the work that we're doing in the rest of it as well, just do the work and let the adaptations form over time. So if we're doing the skill, if we're doing the stamina, if we're doing the stretch, if we're doing all of this kind of stuff as well as the strength stuff, like, you're going to get better gains. You're going to feel better in general than someone that can lift way more weight but they're super stiff, right? So balance it out. Don't feel like you're absolutely destroying yourself. Feel like you're more stimulating yourself. Have and over time, work. Think about the longevity of it rather than how much gains can I make right now, how much adaptation can I make right now. Connective tissue takes a long time to be able to adapt. It does adapt, but it takes longer than muscles do. So if you take your time with how much you're increasing your weight, how much you're increasing your strength, how much time you're taking to be able to recover from a knee injury, you're going to be so much better off for it. And all of the times that I have got re-injured is because I've pushed too far too soon. Whether that be with like returning to actual football, whether that be within the gym, whether it be with anything, I've just pushed too far too soon. So you really need to take a slow approach, a slow gradual approach, rather than pushing way too far, having a massive drop down, being out of training for a couple of months, go back up, back down, etc., try and just keep a gradual steady line over time, and eventually all of those effects will add up and it will just go boom, because it's all compounded. If you're going in the gym and you're training through pain, you're doing stuff with your knee, you know your knee doesn't like or doesn't enjoy, it makes it feel worse, and you're coming out of that gym thinking, oh no, like I don't know how my knee's going to feel, then you need to be careful, right? Keep your ego low. Like right now I'm probably just going to stick with 50 kg today. I haven't squatted in a month. The last time I squatted I was doing 90 kg for reps, but I was doing back squat, and I could probably go up to that today, but there's no point. Like, I might as well just do 50 kg. If on next week I come to it and I feel like, oh, that was way too light, I can go to 60, 70, 80, 90, I can go to whatever I want. So you can always go more, but if you go too far, then you're screwed and you're going to go too less, right? So just take it easy, roll through in your own time. Don't compare yourself against others, right? Let it take time. This is the infinite journey. Like, things don't need to come fast all the time, right? So I'm going to hit this 50 and I'm going to go on to the rest of the exercises. So You want to super control the weight as well. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, up. 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 Play around with tempo, right? Don't always have to rush. You don't have to, like, take your time with it. Take your time with the rep. As you progress, as you get into more return to sport phases, you feel like your knees are really solid, you can start doing more advanced stuff. You can start doing drop catches where you're at the top, boom, dropped halfway, finish a rep, bounce up, boom, right? But different rep styles faster forces shouldn't be done at the start. You can do really light faster forces, calf jumps, less stress on the knee. You can do different types faster forces. The more intense ones, which is what I'm going to do today. So I'm going to do a slow front squat, and then I usually would have done vertical jump straight after the step up, and then after this I would have gone into deep range of motion, VMO, bounces, pulses. Again, not going to do anything crazy this week. Probably do them, maybe just one set, but bouncing in the bottom, again, that faster forces in the deep range of motion. For the accessories for today, we've got hip flex raises, so we've got hip flexion, so I'm going to do that with a kettlebell, and then we've also got Nordic curls, which I'll do on this here. And then stretch would usually be reverse Nordic or couch stretch. I'll probably just do couch stretch today. And then I believe it's a Jefferson curl, but I've done Jefferson curls on Saturday. So this is going to be a much lighter session, and what I want you to think about here is that, like, I'm taking into account what I've done in the rest of the week. I'm taking into account that I haven't done this kind of strength training in quite a while. I'm taking into account what I've done a few days ago, taking into account how my body feels, and taking into account slow progression. I'm taking into account all sorts of things. I haven't done Nordic curls in over a month, so they're probably going to be worse today, and then I'm probably going to be more sore. So I'm probably going to do 1 or 2 sets and leave it at that. Stimulate myself, not annihilate myself, because tomorrow I want to do bench press and all that kind of stuff. And if my hamstrings are super sore, it's going to make me want to go into the gym less. I would also usually, that's the other thing that I'd usually do today, is cleans. But I've done a really big day on Saturday 2 days ago. I've done Seagull mornings, cleans, Jefferson curls, all types of QLs, ab stuff. So my core and stuff is pretty sore already. I already felt it in that front squat. So we'll probably just keep at the knee stuff today. I do Nordics, hip flexing, couch stretch, elephant walk maybe, and then we'll leave it at that. So let's go. Nordics are super important to build over time. I was talking about that angle before. If you look at this bottom portion of the Nordic, this is the hardest where it is. This is the hardest range in this long range of motion. It's easy up here, I've got no load on myself. When you're down there in that lengthened position, in like the 20 degree, 10 degree kind of angle where the ACL does tear, then it's much harder in the lift. So being able to get to the point where we can control those Nordics on the way down with the eccentrics, eventually being able to control all the way with the eccentrics and come back up, amazing. Like, I could probably rep out 10 to 12 reps right now at a bit more speed. I'm just going super slow, doing the eccentrics, probably only going to go 2 sets, super light, keeping it super easy. And then you'll see, if you follow my stories on Instagram, I post my training on there a lot, so you'll see my progression over time on how I'm going to go from this. Next week I'm probably going to do 60 kg on the front squats, and I'll probably do 130 kg step ups, maybe a little less since I haven't done those in a while, maybe 100 kg, and then I'll be doing more intense Nordics. But this is just me working back into it, right? No matter how bulletproof you get, no matter how much training you do, if you stop training for even a few weeks, those abilities that you had 3 weeks ago are going to be much less. So build yourself back into it. But if you think about even just the exercises that I've done today, the tib raise, the KOC calf raise, slow front squat, step up, and Nordic, all of those exercises right there are a pretty good knee program that the majority of football players aren't doing, strength training wise. I bet you I could take 100 footballers and very minimal amounts of them would be able to handle that kind of weight that slowly on a full range of motion front squat. And if we can't do that, our knee joint is not in the right position to be. People wouldn't be able to do the 100 kg step up, no way, not even their body weight on a step up. People would be falling flat down on a Nordic. They wouldn't be able to hold it and even come back up, right? So simple basic exercises, but doing them over time, letting the body adapt to them, and then getting super elite standards at a few exercises is going to be a game changer. And then obviously you have the length after this. So I'm going to do couch stretch and elephant walk. And then on other days I do speed stuff. If you're playing football, you don't need to do as much as the speed stuff because you're getting the elastic forces from the football. So if you're just doing this in the gym and then you're playing football as well, your body's going to be pretty prepared to play football. You're going to get some good stimulus in the gym. You're going to get the elastic force from football. You're going to be getting the skill from football. If you then just get the length and stuff from the couch stretch, the elephant walk, the tissues you're going to feel way more mobile. Your tissues are going to feel better. It's going to be a good time. See what I got. Easy. So I finished off the day with hip flexion, couch stretch, and elephant walk, which is going to be a pretty basic strength training day. Skill stuff, football, juggles, all that kind of stuff. Speed, I would usually do a vertical jump and a deep plyo. Haven't got too much back into the faster forces just yet because my body's still adapting to getting back used to all the strength training and stuff. So I've literally had like a month off. Then the stretch side of stuff, couch stretch, elephant walk, stamina would usually be a sled at the start, and then high rep hip flexion work, the step ups as well would be more stamina because it's 120, 30 kg times 20, but CNS drive and stuff as well, relative strength. So yeah, that's the day. 5 capacities: skill, strength, stretch, speed, stamina. And then we have different days. We have the squat today, we have bench tomorrow, we have 360 core day on Wednesday, we have chins day on Thursday, we have RDL hip hinge day on Friday. Saturday we have an overhead press. Every single day, daily, we're doing sled, we're doing ball work, and we're doing some mobility work, which I will show you in the daily stuff as well at some point. Hope this helps. Hope it was at least a little bit useful. Take your time getting into this style of training. The body needs time to adapt, so let it adapt. Trust me, if you take it slow and adapt your body over time, doing this sort of training will change your entire life like it has changed mine. Over time, you'll be able to see it adapt more and more and more. If you follow my stories, you will see some of the training that I do there, some of the crazy stuff. But yeah, hope it helps. This made Ballers Bulletproof again.